Nebraska basketball from the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls, South Dakota is becoming a bit of a tradition. It's the third year in a row the basketball team has played a game here. While this is a new tradition for fans, the opponent for Nebraska today represents an old rivalry. The Oklahoma Sooners in a throwback showdown to the days of the Big 12. We've got it for you on the Big Ten Network. A good Saturday evening to you. It's great to have this matchup on our air as the Big Ten meets the SEC. He's Sean Morris. I'm Chris Vosters. We could talk all night about the history between this matchup, but for now, let's focus on 2025. What stands out to you about this matchup?
Chris, both of these teams come in scoring north of 80 points per ball game, but something to keep an eye on, the three-point line. From Nebraska's standpoint, they knock down 11 triples per ball game. Oklahoma has so far defended that area of the floor very well, only allowing 28% shooting from deep. A lot of Nebraska's threes come in transition. Keep an eye on that early for Oklahoma defensively.
All right, Sean, we sure will, and let's take a look at the starting lineups now. For Nebraska, this is a team trying to get back to the form of 2 seasons ago when they made the NCAA tournament. Rink Mast and Jamarcus Lawrence were on that team 2 years ago, but not last year. They returned to the Nebraska starting 5 this season and have helped key a 3-0 start for the Cornhuskers. For Oklahoma, this is a team that went deep into the transfer portal to construct its lineup for this season under head coach Porter Moser. They've gotten great play from their guards to start the season, in particular Xavier Brown and Nigel Pack, 2 members of that highly regarded transfer class. As we mentioned, this is an old rivalry between Oklahoma and Nebraska. Believe it or not, it is the 189th all-time meeting between now 2 non-conference foes. Even though Oklahoma has the advantage in the all-time series 105-83, Nebraska leads 15-8 in neutral site meetings, of which this is one here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, about a 2.5-hour drive from Lincoln, Nebraska. Well, the threads for Nebraska reflect yesteryear as well. The red throwbacks from 30 years ago, the 1995-96 season. This is the first time Nebraska has worn the red throwbacks from that NIT championship season. So a rivalry renewed. The jerseys reflect the era for Nebraska. This feels like an historic matchup.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Both of these teams can get up and down and score. We've talked about the backcourts a little bit, especially with Xavier Brown for Oklahoma. Let's keep an eye also on that young man, number 51 in red for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. He was out a season ago with an injury. 2 seasons ago when they went to the NCAA tournament, he was an integral part of that, not just with his ability to step out from the 5 spot and knock down threes, which he does about 38% of the time, but so much of the offense runs through him. An excellent passer, had a triple-double earlier this season.
There were some questions about just how effective he would be after missing all of last season, but Rink Mast, a double-double and a triple-double already. A lot for Oklahoma head coach Porter Moser to handle for sure. Porter Moser has not coached in the Big Ten, but he spent 10 seasons as the head coach of Loyola Chicago, right in the Big Ten's backyard. Still has a condo in Chicago. He's a die-hard Cubs fan. Looking forward to this matchup tonight as a rivalry is renewed between Oklahoma and Nebraska. Nebraska in the crimson and Oklahoma in the scarlet. We are underway. Darian Reed on the ball right now for the Sooners. Swung around to Brown, looking for Pack, who's got over 1,700 points in his college career. Pack, a gifted 3-point shooter, nothing but net to begin the ball game.
Nice job of flipping the floor with the pass, and that's a very difficult shot by Pack because Buchengel was coming out there hands high. Well done by the transfer.
Pack just 5'10", but has scored at every stop in his college basketball journey. Rink Mast off the mark, and Tay Davis, who's gobbled up a lot of rebounds for Oklahoma to start the season, does so right there and brings it up the floor. Now Reed with the right hand, too strong off glass. Rebound eventually picked up by Bryce Sanford, the former Iowa Hawkeye, his first season in Lincoln.
And you can tell, point of emphasis for Oklahoma, getting back in transition. That's something that Nebraska has excelled at in transition, knocking down threes.
Sam Hoiberg, the coach's son, with the pass down to Rink Mast. Low block blocked by Mohamed Wagee. And a good start for OU. Davis with the Euro step. Wow, look at that big man move. High-low start for Oklahoma on the road. Yes, this is a neutral site by the book, but it is probably 97% Nebraska fans in the house tonight.
And boy, are the Sooners locked in defensively.
Sanford for three, short. And the rebound tipped to Nigel Pack. That was a point of emphasis for Oklahoma in shoot-around today. Nebraska loves to shoot the three. Porter Moser wants his team to be ready for long rebounds. Fred Hoiberg in his 7th season as Nebraska's head coach. He's now been the head coach for the Cornhuskers longer than he was the head coach for his alma mater, the Iowa State Cyclones. And he likes this team as far as getting back to the identity that got them to the NCAA tournament in 2024.
Now they added Sanford through the transfer portal, but getting 2 guys back in different ways. We talked about Rink Mass coming back after an injury. Jamarcus Lawrence, their starting guard, was on that team 2 seasons ago that went to the NCAA tournament, then transferred to Rhode Island, and then came back.
There and back again in the case of Jamarcus Lawrence. A couple of free throws for Xavier Brown, the junior transfer from St. Joseph's. He's gotten into double figures in scoring in every game to start his Oklahoma career.
And he's money from the foul line thus far in Norman. Was 12 of 13 prior to making those 2.
So Nebraska looking for its lid lifter here. 4th time Nebraska has played here at the Sanford Pentagon. They're 2-1 all time. Hoiberg underneath, it's tipped and out of bounds. Last touched by Wagee and OU.
Chris, I've really been impressed here in the early 3 or 4 possessions with Oklahoma defensively, not just in their movement of personnel, but we're close enough here to the floor. Their communication has been stellar. They're shifting guys off. They're talking on the cuts. Nothing easy so far for Nebraska offensively.
Oklahoma 2-1 on the season, but they've already had a big-time litmus test as Mast is off the mark. They took on Gonzaga in Spokane, lost the game by 15, but they've had an early test to see where they're at against a high-caliber non-conference opponent. This is Nebraska's first such test of the season. Brown for 3 for OU. Xavier Brown with 5, and how about this, a 10-0 start for Oklahoma as Sanford ends that, a triple for Nebraska. That gets the crowd back into it. Wagee bottling the handle a little bit. Darion Reed, the shot fake. Here's Tay Davis. Nebraska's bench wanted to travel. Instead, Reed off the mark from 3.
And that's where you want Reed if you are Nebraska defensively. Reed so athletic, but has struggled so far shooting the 3 this year, 14%.
Sanford for 3. He's got all 6 for the Huskers.
And there was just a breakdown in communication. That pin down on the near side of the floor, Chris. Oklahoma done a very good job of talking him through, but they set the screen. Well done in terms of executing shoulder to shoulder coming off for that wide open look.
Assist to Sam Hoiberg, averaging 4 assists per game through the first 3 for Nebraska. Nearly a takeaway. Davis with under 10 on the shot clock. Alley-oop inbound to Reed, and a foul is called. Oklahoma wants a goaltend.
I think they're going to get it too. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. The 2 points for Darion Reed. And then, as you can see, Jamarcus Lawrence makes contact with his head on the block attempt. That's the 2nd already, personal foul that is, on Jamarcus Lawrence. Oklahoma is going to get a substitution in as Reed waits for his lone free throw attempt. Nebraska is going to sub as well. There's junior, former walk-on, Cale Jacobson, earned a scholarship going into this season. Reed money at the free throw line.
And that was the right call in terms of a goaltend. Unfortunately for Buchtengel, he came over. I don't think that thing was going in, but it was well above the cylinder. You got to kind of let it go. The officials made the right call in that situation, but I don't think it was going in because it was deflected on the initial offering.
Well, here's Buchtengel on the other end for Nebraska. Berke Buchtengel, the native of Turkey, draws the foul and gets caught up with his teammate Sanford on the ground. They untie that pretzel, and we'll be back after this early lead for Oklahoma. Oklahoma and Nebraska meet for the 189th time in their storied rivalry. Before the Big 12, there was the Big 8. Before that, the Big 7. And then the Big 6, formed in 1928-29. Oklahoma and Nebraska, two charter members of the Big 6. And for 90 years, they were conference rivals, Sean, until Nebraska departed for the Big 10 in 2011.
And then just to show you that I have nothing else going on in my life, the 7th team would have been Oklahoma State. They've transferred in as Oklahoma A&M. They won a couple of national titles under Coach Henry Iba and Bob Curlin. And then the 8th team would have been Colorado. So, wow, a lot of tradition.
You're just encyclopedic in your knowledge, Sean.
There better be something in this giant cranium.
Berke Buchtengel knocks down a couple of free throws for Nebraska, and it's a 5-point lead for Oklahoma. Impressive start for the Sooners. Head coach Porter Moser still going largely with his starters. That's the one exception right there, Jeff Wonkwo, who's off the mark from 3. Offensive rebound, Oklahoma. Tate Davis too strong. And it's out of bounds, and it stays with Oklahoma. And a good start for Oklahoma on the glass especially.
And this is a team in Oklahoma. They will pound the offensive window, especially Tate Davis. He's averaging a double-double, Chris. 6 of those boards per game on the offensive window. Last time out, Tate Davis with 11 offensive rebounds. So if you are wearing a red jersey for Nebraska, you have to find a white jersey and not allow yourself to be pushed under the rim, make body contact, and root them out.
11 offensive rebounds for Tate Davis was a program best for at least 30 years in Oklahoma history. Koala Talk is off the mark there, and here comes Nebraska trying to make this a single possession game. So much of Nebraska's offense runs through number 51 in red, Rick Mast. And a kick ball is called.
And we set that to 20 here.
Sideline inbounds for Sam Hoiberg, the senior, who's playing with the ball in his hand more than he has at any other point in his career. Stuffs the stat sheet with rebounds, assists, and steals.
Averaging 7 boards a game from the guard position.
Generously listed at 6 foot. Here's Mast covered up by Wagi. Underneath, not enough English. Buchtengel, what a rebound, and the shot clock did not reset. So Buchtengel had to hurry a shot off. It's tipped out of bounds. Nebraska gets back defensively in transition. Braden Frager checks into the game for Nebraska, redshirt freshman. Sat out all of last season.
A really impressive performance in the season opener for the Cornhuskers against West Georgia.
Here's Dayton Forsyth. Around it goes to Atak. A little bit strong. Rebound pulled in by Wagi. A foul is called. Huskers wanted a travel. Instead, Frager, just off the bench, picks up the foul.
And how about the job by Wagi? Watch what he does. They do a pretty good job of getting a body on him, but he takes a step back. He doesn't die on the blockout. If he doesn't make that extra effort to step away from the screen out, he's not going to be able to make that play. And then he completed it by going up strong with 2 hands. Well done by that young man.
So Wagi gets a deserved rest 5.5 minutes into the game. And he battled foul trouble against Gonzaga as Forsyth steps out of bounds for Oklahoma. And if you talk to head coach Porter Moser, that was a big part of the reason why Gonzaga was able to take control of that game, because they did not have the rebounding and rim protection of Wagi. This is turning into a physical game. Sanford hits the deck and a foul on Oklahoma. It's on Xavier Brown.
Keep an eye with how aggressively Oklahoma is coming off the top of those curl cuts. Let's see if a red jersey puts the foot in the floor once they hit the three-point line and maybe make a dive cut and force Oklahoma to defend something going to the rim here, kind of get them out of their defensive comfort level.
Longclaw sits. Hoiberg drives Forsythe. Hoiberg in the lane, left hand. And it kind of rolled off his hand, and a foul called on Nebraska.
Tell you what, that was a nice job by Forsythe, because Nebraska inverted things offensively. They put Hoiberg down there. He maintains verticality, forces him to go to the offhand, fading away. Really well done by Forsythe of answering the defensive call. They were trying to isolate him.
Forsythe was the #1 recruit in the state of Oklahoma 2 years ago out of Dale High School. Averaged 12 minutes per game as a freshman last year. Those minutes have jumped up to 19 per off the bench this season. Here he is, kick out. Pack for three.
Man, that was reptilian in its coldness.
You don't have to bite your tongue, partner. Whew. I saw your reaction there as that one rolled in. Pack's got 6. Oklahoma doubling up Nebraska, and Sanford with the flush. He's got 8 of Nebraska's 10.
And because he knocked down a couple of threes, they didn't close out completely under control, and he was able to make them pay.
Sanford with the rebound there. The guy's doing everything for Nebraska.
Well, they've got a mismatch down low. Pack is on Buchton gel. They haven't found it yet. Good job of switching out.
Sanford, his first season as a starter, he was Iowa's 6th man last season with older brother Peyton. And my goodness, he's looking like he's first team all Big Ten right now. A bucket and a foul.
Excellent use of the shot fake. A couple possessions ago, right there, really well done. You freeze the defender, he leaves his feet here, little rip through, able to get to the left hand, and because he knocked down those 2 threes early, they're really cognizant of taking it away. And just a rare breakdown in terms of communication so far defensively by Oklahoma leads to the opportunity at the rim for the transfer from Iowa.
That's just tonight. 10 points, 4 of 5 from the floor, couple of trays. He's gotten off to a great start this season, a 20-point performance already as a Husker. And he's well on his way to another one of those, 11 points already. Now his teammates have to get going offensively.
And he's shooting about 38% from behind the arc so far in his time in Nebraska, actually north of 40%.
Attack for 3. Now, Attack is 6'9", and Porter Moser says he could very well be the team's best three-point shooter.
Well, he's certainly not shy, because his minutes haven't been that much here in the early going, but he has gotten his opportunity.
Now Jacobson to the rack and the lay-in.
Nice change of pace by Jacobson. They thought he was going to pull that dribble out and kick it out, but that hesitation got the defender out of his stance, allowing him to turn the corner.
Attack inside. Guarded by Jared Garcia, number 15, into the game for the first time for Nebraska. Attack. It's pulled in by Wagee. Second chance effort for Mo Wagee.
This is a really good job again of putting mass underneath the rim, and then he doesn't try to snatch it with one hand. Wagee in both of these last situations has gone up with 2 hands.
Free ball. Connor Esigian for Nebraska.
Good sign for Nebraska, because last time out, Esigian was 0 of 5 from the floor overall, 0 of 3 from deep. Got it going last year. Averaged 11 points per ball game, 38% from behind the arc a season ago.
A ball game now, Sean. Wagee. What a nifty bounce pass to Tay Davis. 4 for Davis, but all the credit in the world to Wagee there. Here's Esigian. Knifes in, kicks out. Garcia, baseline.
Oh, nice.
Masked. What a slip pass from Garcia.
Really well done by Garcia of keeping his dribble alive, but it was a small thing, but an important thing. Mask got his defender up the line, got his hip on, and that created the passing angle. Well done.
Now Pack with a rack attack.
You can see why this guy scored 1,700 points in his stops. He's an all Big 12 performer at Kansas State that was a member of the Final Four team with Miami a couple seasons ago.
Pass for three. Things are heating up here in the Pentagon. Sooners by 2. Pack for 3. Off the mark, long rebound. Atak's got it. Tied up with a Sijin. They call a foul on a Sijin. Sort that out when we come back.
Yeah, we'll work it out when we come back, but before we leave, this has been an entertaining game to start. Sanford able to get it going from behind the arc, a shot fake, able to get to lane and create, and then Atak says, I'll take all 3 of those. We'll see you back here in Sioux Falls.
2-point lead for Oklahoma midway through the first half in this SEC Big Ten showdown. Been a long day of football as well, and the final drive recaps the entire day of pigskin around the conference. Tonight, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Connor Essegian was whistled for a personal foul going into that timeout, so Oklahoma ball as we get back to the action here. They reviewed a 3-point attempt by Kowal Atak from earlier in the game and maintained that it was a 3-pointer as opposed to a foot on the line 2-pointer. So the score remains 25-23 Oklahoma, and that's Atak for 2.
Well, that was a pretty good defensive sequence by Nebraska, communicating and moving, but Atak showing some offensive versatility there.
Essegian, that's well short.
Atak got it, got a piece.
Atak very long at 6'9". And right back the other way, Nigel Pack continuing to assault the rim inside.
And something to keep an eye on, Sam Hoiberg came up a little gimpy right now.
The foul on Hoiberg. Nigel Pack a chance to complete a 3-point play. Pack already into double figures as Hoiberg trying to gather himself. $11 for Pack. He's hit double figures in all 4 games as a Sooner. 6th-year college basketball player, closing in on 2,000 career points. Hoiberg. Buyuk-Tingel hangs on. 7 to shoot for Essegian. Wide left, and Reed the long rebound.
Boy, no penetration of the 3-point arc there by Nebraska. Oklahoma took them out of completely what they wanted to do.
And with that shot by Dayton Forsythe, the Sooners have made 6 of 7. They are red hot right now in the lead back to 10.
And that caps a quick 8-0 run. It was 25-23, and nice job of running the floor, spacing the extra pass, and Forsythe can do that. You mentioned big-time scorer in high school, averaged about 4 points a game a year ago, but he can get it going. Had 25 against Ole Miss toward the end of the regular season last year.
First player since Trey Young to be named State Player of the Year as a junior in high school. You know, for Oklahoma, this team, after losing by 15 to Gonzaga, is still trying to put your finger on how good this team is. So many new players from an NCAA tournament team a year ago, but this has been a great start.
Well, in Oklahoma, look, obviously they weren't pleased with the loss to Gonzaga, but Gonzaga is good. I mean, they took it to Creighton as well. That's a team up in Spokane that has legitimate Final Four aspirations.
Oklahoma's last Final Four was 2016. They've been to 5 in program history. Nebraska, of course, still hunting its first win in the NCAA tournament.
Oklahoma's just been so good defensively here.
Bayuk with a mismatch, however. And a foul is called. Nigel Pack got matched up with the 6'10 forward for Nebraska.
But a nice recognition defensively by Oklahoma, to your point, Chris. Pack was completely outsized down there, but rather than leave him on an island, you had that double team that came down there to force him to give it up.
Mo Wagee picks up the foul, his first. Hoiberg inbounds looking for Sanford. It goes to Mast instead. Hoiberg to the free throw line, looking for Mast again.
Well, how about the job Brown did pushing Mast out?
Brown just a 6'2 guard. Here's Mast backing him down, and a foul is called. And it's on Nigel Pack, his first. That's the 5th team foul on Oklahoma. So Nebraska working towards the bonus here. Sanford for 3. Wrong side of the nylon, and it's Oklahoma ball. It's an Oklahoma team that returned 0 of their 5 starters from last year's NCAA tournament team that got knocked out in the first round. 14 SEC teams made the NCAA tournament last year, and Dayton Forsythe filling it up with his second 3 of the game.
He made his impact known defensively. They tried to isolate him a few possessions ago with Hoiberg. He responded, and so far, he's also answered the call offensively.
Bayuk backing down Brown, and he slips around him for the deuce.
And if you are Nebraska, you have to continue to probe until you find those mismatches, because some of those switches, that's about the 4th or 5th time we've seen a perimeter player matched up on a post player defensively.
And on the other end, Bayuk just trucked Darion Reed of Oklahoma. First personal on Bayuk and Oklahoma up double digits. Friday headlines going into the weekend across the Big Ten. Rodney Rice, the Maryland transfer, becomes the first USC Trojan since 2007 with a triple-double. Wesley Yates shines in the Apple Cup against Washington State. And Nick Martinelli of Sean Morris's Northwestern Wildcats, 24 points in a crosstown showdown at DePaul in the South Loop, and the 2 game-winning free throws.
Just putting together one heck of a career is Martinelli, and those first 2 gentlemen, I think, are kind of a microcosm of what we're seeing in college basketball. You had Rodney Rice, to your point, transferred into conference from Maryland, and then Wesley Yates started at Washington, was at USC last year, then made the return up to Seattle, and Rick Mast having him back. Speaking of return, very, very important for what Nebraska wants to do, not just here tonight, but throughout the course of the year.
Yeah, speaking of triple doubles, the third in Nebraska program history, and he's got an additional double-double this season as well. One more free throw for Reed, and it rattles in. And Nebraska trying to get off the schneid here. It's a 13-2 run for Oklahoma over the last 3 minutes. It was 25-23 Oklahoma at one point. Here's Mast, guarded by Wagee, and Wagee draws the foul. The foul is on Wagee, his second.
And a nice job by Wagee initially defensively, kind of pushed Mast into that short corner, but then Nebraska responded with an outstanding play as well. Look, there's not another red jersey around. They isolate that side of the floor, and because Mast can put the ball on the deck, you've got Wagee, who's played really well so far on an island defensively. That's not necessarily his area of comfort. Nebraska able to probe it.
Mast was 13 All-Big Ten 2 years ago. This is his 7th season in college basketball. Graduated with a bachelor's degree from Bradley University. working on a master's here at Nebraska, had regenerative cartilage surgery on his knee in May of 2024. Kept him out for a full 12 months before he could resume any kind of on-court action. Nigel Pack with a friendly roll. He's got 13. Mass guarded by Davis now. Not the right angle, and the rebound to Reed. Pack around Bayuktanjel. And Reed wasn't quite ready for the alley-oop, but the foul is called on Nebraska.
Nigel Pack showing some savvy there. He knocked down a couple of threes. They wanted to run him off the line. If you are Nebraska defensively, at least you didn't give up a three. You did kind of run him off the line, make him hit a tough two, and he has hit a number of those so far in his collegiate career.
So he's crossed over the 1,800 point mark today already. And after the foul on Price Sandfort of Nebraska, Reed back at the free throw line. Oklahoma was a very good free throw shooting team last year for Porter Moser. They had the top free throw percentage in program history last year, and even with the reconstructed roster this year, they've not missed so far tonight at the stripe.
And 78% coming into the ball game as a squad.
Jamarcus Lawrence back into the game, number 10. Bayuktanjel spins on Pack and dunks it home. Now, Nebraska's been able to set up more of those mismatches of late.
And if you are Bayuktanjel, you have to recognize that's about the fourth time that Pack has been caught on him. You can't hesitate. Just turn and go right to the rim. Force him to make a decision.
Forsythe puts it home.
That defensive play, when they tried to isolate him, I think lit a fire under Forsythe, because he has been giving tremendous minutes since that period he checked in.
Nebraska looking for a mismatch. A foul is called on Reed. Reed's first.
Nice job. They understand Forsythe is out there to knock down threes. He's done it a couple times. He recognizes it as well. They don't take away the baseline. Forsythe able to turn the corner, and the rotation was a little tardy.
Forsythe was a three-peat state champion in high school, as we mentioned, Dale High in Oklahoma. Hoiberg at the free throw line for Nebraska. It was nice to see Sam Hoiberg stuff the box score like he did against Maryland Eastern Shore in Nebraska's last game with 18 points. He does so much to affect the game beyond the box score that he got involved in a big way in Nebraska's last game. That was cool to see. 14-point lead for Oklahoma. Forsythe almost dragged the pivot foot. Reed off the mark, Bayuktanjel the board.
And that's where you want Reed if you're Nebraska defensively. 14% so far from three on the year.
Sandfort, too strong, and it stays with Nebraska.
I think someone just got tossed. I think you're going to see a fan tossed.
Well, he's not full mast anymore.
Yep.
Half mast.
Yes.
It is an intimate setting here at the Sanford Pentagon. Capacity under 3,500. much smaller than the home arenas of both of these programs. There's Buick-Tingel inside.
And you have to continue to exploit that mismatch. Until Oklahoma makes a different decision defensively, you have to continue to find Buick-Tingel, and you have to, if you're Buick-Tingel, you have to continue to demand the basketball.
Alley-oop, Terrion Reed. They don't want him at the three-point line. They want him right there. Reed has got 9 points, and Hoiberg with his first bucket from the floor.
Now what these attacks at the rim may do for the end of this first half and maybe into the second, create some three-point shooting opportunities, because they're really making a concerted effort to take away those threes, of which Nebraska hits about 11 per ball game.
Longquo draws the foul. Buick-Tingel picks up his second. Longquo's going to the foul line. Battling a hamstring strain coming into this game. Went through shoot-around early this afternoon, but was considered a game-time decision. That's Oklahoma's first miss from the free throw line tonight.
Yeah, Longquo about a 40% shooter so far in the early going. Nice.
Sanford. How did that develop?
They were worried, again, about taking away the three. You saw the defender go all the way over the top. Mass faked the handoff. That took the defender with him. And then Mass showing you his basketball savvy, waiting for the traffic to clear. They're worried about the three-point shot. They fake the handoff. Defender gets caught on the hip of Mass, leads the recipient right to the rim.
Well, an emphasis in the offseason for head coach Fred Hoiberg in Nebraska was to find shooters, and they got one in Bryce Sanford, who played his first 2 seasons at Iowa. You look at the impact he's already made, Sean. He seems poised for a big year.
Well, and he can not only beat you from behind the arc, which he does north of 40% of the time, but if you don't close out under control, he's also shown the ability to rip and get through. Nice recognition by the Iowa transfer, and he can go with either hand. Well done of keeping his eye on the target. He's going to be a very difficult matchup because of his ability to knock down threes, and you can see he's getting more comfortable creating opportunities off the dribble.
They'll be calling it the Sanford Pentagon before long.
Uh-oh.
What's this up?
That might cost a lot of money.
Well, Nebraska down 10. A great night for Sanford with 13. But Xavier Brown in Oklahoma shooting very well from deep.
How about that execution coming out of the dead ball? They collapse the defense, and then they allow Brown to fill in behind.
Brown's got 8, and an Oklahoma foul on their defensive side of the floor. Atak sits for Oklahoma. Forsythe back into the game. Lobbed into Hoiberg. And another foul called on Forsythe this time. That's his first. Coming up, stay tuned for the State Farm halftime report. We'll send it to our Chicago studios to get you caught up on a busy day of Big Ten football. Plus, Sean and I will recap the first half here in Sioux Falls. Yes, it was a busy day of football in the Big Ten, but a day that did not include the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They are on a bye this weekend. So all eyes from Lincoln up north here in Sioux Falls on this matchup involving the basketball team. And the women will be here tomorrow. Tay Davis lost the handle. Hoiberg picks it up. Cale Jacobson. Hoiberg drives Forsythe.
Good job by Forsythe of moving his feet.
Sanford, it rims out.
But that's the second time that Forsythe has answered the call defensively.
Pack, shot fake, 2-ball. Tipped out to Pack. cut off by Mast, and he loses it out of bounds. Nebraska ball.
The transition defense, with maybe one or two exceptions for Oklahoma today, has been fantastic. And that is a credit to the coaching staff and these guys. Remember, we were at shoot-around today. That was a point of emphasis, not just in terms of going back and defending the rim, but defending the three-point line, because so many of the threes from Nebraska in the early part of this season have come in transition, and they have been negated in that part of their game so far.
Sanford sets the feed, and when you do that, it's dangerous.
Especially if you're Oklahoma defensively, because you also had a Sioux out there, and you have to kind of make a decision. All right, do we go over the top and then allow the flare, or do we aggressively attack?
Shooters on the floor for Nebraska, down 10 late in the first half. And Reed is able to throw it off a Nebraska player. Oklahoma with 12 on the shot clock.
Nice job of flipping the floor here. Gets a little bit of a rub, not a ton from Mast, but he's able to step behind that, and that's maybe only the second or third time there's been a breakdown in communication for Oklahoma on the defensive end of the floor, and Sanford made him pay.
As we said, Nebraska wanted to find shooters in the offseason, and it's already been reflected in the percentage of their points that have come from deep. Just about 40% of Nebraska's point total has come via the three ball. Here's Brown with a deep three, and it just grazed the iron. Now a chance to get this lead under 10. A Siegen from the elbow. Reed, no look pass for Davis. Falls off, Mast the rebound. Numbers for Nebraska if they hurry.
Yep, they've been setting that up a long time.
Rink Mast for three.
That's called playing with pace, okay? He didn't sprint. If he full out sprints, that's not there. But you had two white jerseys down on the floor. Nebraska able to recognize it, and Mast played with the perfect pace to get the step line.
Offensive foul. Connor Siegen draws the charge.
Siegen took it there. He's outside the restricted area. And then in transition, this is called experience, okay? You see Mast come into your picture. If he rim runs, that's not there. That is a design sequence, and because they had the numbers advantage, Oklahoma wasn't able to set up and defend that three-point line, in particular Mast.
Sanford short from three. We showed you Porter Moser, Oklahoma's head coach. He's not wearing a jacket anymore. It ended up on the ground after that offensive foul was called on his player, Darion Reed. I'm not sure if we'll see it again, Sean. Brown draws the foul. It's on Jacobson of Nebraska, his first.
And Brown, so far during his time in Norman, about as close to automatic as you're going to find. Came into this ball game 12 of 13, 92% on the year.
And he was pretty darn close to automatic last year with St. Joseph's, a program record for St. Joe's with an 89.7% free throw percentage last year. He was first team all A-10.
And his first year in Philadelphia was a member of the all-rookie team for the Atlantic 10.
Brown's stepdad is assistant coach Justin Scott.
Kai Rogers just checked into the ball game. If you're Nebraska, especially since he's fresh into the ball game, if he has the assignment on Rink Mast, let's see if Nebraska tries to utilize the experience of Mast with the recent checking in of Kai Rogers.
Rogers is a true freshman. He's a big dude at 6'10", 250. Guarding Mast now. Sanford. Double teamed, hangs on. On the cut, Hoiberg underneath, tap dancing. 5 to shoot now. Sanford gets it to go.
Nicely done, and well done by Nebraska as well. When he started that drive, you saw the red jerseys vacate. That took away the weak side help because they're worried about the dribble drive and the kick out. Sanford able to recognize that on the fly.
What a half for Bryce Sanford, 18 points. Oklahoma playing for the final possession of the half. This is Pack, lost it, 1 second, Jacobson. Sanford didn't get the shot away. Jacobson should have taken it. You don't blame him for offloading to Sanford with the first half he had.
What an exciting first half. Oklahoma locked in defensively to start this ball game, taking away the 3. But those shot fakes and the ability to get to the rim allowed Nebraska to climb back into this. Going to be an exciting second 20 minutes.
Nebraska gets the Oklahoma lead to 7. It's 51-44 at the break. After this break, we'll send it to our Chicago studios for the State Farm halftime report. Stick around. Good one. Erie and Sioux Falls. Just about ready for half number 2 in the 189th all-time meeting between Oklahoma and Nebraska. First meeting 1921. It was long before you were around, my friend.
Thank you.
Yes, Sean Morris and Chris Foster. What were your first half impressions?
Well, Oklahoma came out and I thought really did a nice job of establishing a defensive tone, taking away the three-point shooting of Nebraska. The Cornhuskers came in knocking down 11 per ball game. And then from Oklahoma's standpoint offensively, where they've really excelled this year is outscoring their opposition from the foul line. They make 16 free throws a ball game, doubling up the opposition. So far that's held. The Sooners 10 of 11 from the line versus 6 of 8 from the line for the Cornhuskers. So if you are Oklahoma, you have to feel very good about where you are after the first 20 minutes.
And that's a bucket for Rink Mast. Goaltending called against Oklahoma, and Nebraska strikes first 10 seconds into the half. Mast into double figures. It's the second goaltend we've had today. Crowd stands wearing Nebraska crimson. Tips.
Good active hands by Lawrence. But that play was made possible because Mast moved his feet. He took away the drive, showed himself. That forced the ball handler to give it up, and Lawrence with the active hands knocks it out.
Brown pulls the trigger.
Man. Shot clock getting under 4, came under control, did not get sped up in that situation. He has a complete offensive game, does Brown.
Jamarcus Lawrence back on the floor to start the second half for Nebraska. Battled foul trouble early in the first. But Tingel, it falls off. Rebound tip to Mast. Here's Sanford. Rebound Reed.
That's a tough shot for Sanford because I don't think his feet were under him. Looked like one of those feet was kind of slipping away toward the rim, not able to get his usual lift.
Tingel blankets Reed, air ball. Lawrence, in his second stint with Nebraska, finds Tingel for 3.
And there's the transition 3 that was an area of concern for Oklahoma coming into this ball game. It had essentially been a non-factor, but we saw Mast trailing the play toward the end of the first half there. Tingel, they had the numbers advantage. They're able to find him on the far side.
Tingel was 1 for 7 from three-point range before that make, and a nifty reverse for Tay Davis. Lawrence throws it up, and Mast wasn't looking. Wires crossed there. Wagee throws it to Reed. Brown for Pack. In and out. Mast the rebound.
Good ball movement, however, by Oklahoma in the half court.
Sooners were in control of the rebound game in the first half. As Lawrence misses the 3, they were +8 on Nebraska in the first half.
That's something that Coach Porter Moser talked about extensively in their shoot-around. We have to win the battle on the boards.
That was what was laid bare in the loss to Gonzaga. It was also a persistent problem for Oklahoma in the SEC last year. They felt they lacked the size to truly hang in that conference. Brown for three. They've got some shooters.
If you're Oklahoma, you know what Brown can do for you. Get buckets.
Get buckets. He's got 15. He's surpassed Nigel Pack for the team lead.
Now there's the fill behind. Better pass, that's a made three. Because the pass was down at his ankles, a well-designed play, but Mast had to go all the way down to his shoe tops to get it.
What a play by Sam Hoiberg to save the ball on the end line. Lawrence misses the reverse. He was hung in the air, got bumped by Wagee. This is Pack, throws it up, and it's tipped and intercepted by Sanford. A track meet now. Lawrence slays it in. Lawrence was scoreless in the first half. Nebraska got it down to 4 in the second half. Oklahoma has it back to 7. Davis drops it in.
Really well done by Davis, because Mast came over, did what you're supposed to do inside that restricted area, maintain verticality. Nice conversion by Davis. Transition baskets have been few and far between for the Cornhuskers as they're trying to climb back in. Lawrence, who struggled with foul trouble in the first half, getting going here, but they're going to need more of this to come all the way.
Tomorrow, catch women's hoops when Britt Prince and the Huskers take on North Dakota State here in Sioux Falls. The action tips off at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Nebraska's women's team has had some highlights already to start the season. Look at this from Wednesday against in-state rival Creighton. There's Prince from 3-quarters scored at the horn in the third quarter. Rattles it down. So we'll see if there's any kind of long-range drama like that from the Pentagon tomorrow. Apologies to our stage manager, Glenn Sisk, avid Creighton Blue Jays fan who had to watch that highlight back again. He'll be all right. Cale Jacobson just turned it over. Strange play. Forsythe for Brown on the wing. And the alley-oop knocked away by Buchtingel. Jacobson pounces on it. Mast. Lawrence.
Good job by Forsythe to move in his feet. Now, he did get called for the foul, but boy, I tell you, he's given them some quality minutes on both ends. Pretty good closeout. Then he didn't square up. If he squares up and doesn't have his momentum kind of leaning him into the ball handler, that might have been a play on.
It's number 2 on Forsythe. Sanford gathers his own miss and dribbles it out.
You know, you got to get to Mast. I mean,
they do.
Too late.
Reed joins the double team and Mast is fouled. And if that's on Forsythe, that's his third. It is.
I mean, one dribble and you've got him. Because Forsythe was the loneliest guy in America there until the double team came over, and then once Mast was able to kind of get his hips by him, Forsythe had no choice but to give the foul.
Mast rattles in the free throw. Now 12 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal for the do-everything center. Atak checks back in, number 22. It's scarlet and cream, official colors for Nebraska versus crimson and cream for Oklahoma, and they leave Forsythe in for Oklahoma with 3 fouls. Brown underneath. Pack, shot fake, step back, bottoms. Pack's first points of the half. He's up to 16 for the game to lead back to double figures.
Nice. Nice unselfish play by Sanford. They get the ball to him. They're trying to take away the three-point shot. He doesn't let the ball stick. He led Buktingel right to the rim.
Season high 13 for Berke Buktingel. Forsythe left it short, gathers his own miss. Tipped, taken, Sanford leaked out to Jacobson.
Smart play by Jacobson.
Jamarcus Lawrence. Got it! And the crowd back into this thing. Lead cut to 5. Koala Talk misses the 3. Chance to get really close here for Nebraska. Lawrence, another one. Nebraska has surged and made it a 2-point game.
With Jamarcus Lawrence held in check here, he's the pass that leads to the pass to Buktingel, and then Lawrence scoreless in the first half. You wouldn't know it by this. Now puts him north of 50% from 3 on the year. We've got a good one in Sioux Falls.
The Big Ten is 2-1 against the SEC so far this season, and there are plenty of great showdowns between these two power conferences to come. Just a really fun time of year in the college basketball season.
A couple of impressive wins for the Big Ten. That game, Purdue at Alabama, that is a high-quality win. You're talking about an Alabama team 2 years ago in the Final Four. Last year they advanced to the Elite Eight, and yes, Purdue is very good, but to go into that environment, which was extremely hostile to say the least, and you get Trey Kaufman-Renn back, that win contributes to the 93% winning percentage the Big Ten Conference has enjoyed thus far in the early part of the season.
That is incredible. Over 93% nearly 2 weeks into the season. Michigan State will play Kentucky at Madison Square Garden next week. That's the next Big Ten SEC showdown. Hope it's as good as this one. Nebraska and Oklahoma, 90 years in the same conference. Xavier Brown misses the 3. This is just their second meeting in the last 14 years since Nebraska departed the Big 12 in 2011. Jacobson and 1. We are tied.
Nice hesitation, but a rare breakdown defensively by Oklahoma in this regard. They completely forget Jacobson's a left-handed dominant player. They don't take away his left hand. They let him get to his strong hand, and the hesitation gives him a chance for an and 1.
Jacobson had a breakout postseason in Las Vegas at the college basketball crown. Fred Hoiberg thought he should have been named to the all-tournament team. It's plays like that as he gives Nebraska the lead with the made free throw. Huskers' first lead of the game. How does Oklahoma respond?
I want to get a shot by Pat.
Davis draws the foul.
How about Davis doing a really good job of not panicking with the double team, and then he does what you're supposed to do. He steps through aggressively, and then low man wins. Look, they're trying to double team, step through. You split the double team, a chance to shoot a couple here, and Tay Davis has been around. Had a really nice season a year ago at Notre Dame, played at Seton Hall prior to that, and so far earlier in his Sooner career, averaging a double-double.
Yeah, great start for Davis, who earns a trip to the free throw line after the foul on Sanford. Second on Sanford. Davis, 11.7 points, 10.3 rebounds per game through his first 3 with Oklahoma.
We mentioned it earlier, Chris, of those 10 rebounds per ball game coming in, 6 were on the offensive window. He had 11 offensive rebounds last time out for the Sooners.
That's extraordinary, most in at least 30 years in OU history. Off the rim, the rebound snapped down by Jacobson, and we are tied at 64. Sanford around Reed. He's going to the free throw line.
Excellent job by Sanford of understanding, Chris, how they're defending him. I mean, they are doing everything they can to get over the top and be there on the catch. And rather than panic, you rip through. This is why you have to have the ability to finish with either hand. If he tries to go with his strong hand, at best he's going to shoot 2 foul shots. Because he can convert around the rim with either hand, he has a chance for the traditional three-point play.
His first points of the half. Now at the 20-point mark already for the second time this season. 21 for Sanford. That is just one off his career high. McGee, kick out. Reed, kick out. Brown, 3-ball.
Man. Woo! I want that guy on my team because he can flat out score and nothing rattles him.
You asked the question, what can Brown do for you? And Jamarcus Lawrence provides an answer.
And how about Lawrence? Scoreless in the first half, 10 here so far in the second stanza for Nebraska.
Go along with 3 assists. Blocking foul called on Nebraska. It's on Jamarcus Lawrence. That's his 3rd. Intensity ratcheted up as Nebraska has made it a ball game here in the second half. Huskers by 2. Men's hoops for you tomorrow. Indiana takes on Incarnate Word. And then number 2, Purdue takes on Akron after that huge win for the Boilermakers down in Tuscaloosa. Hoops doubleheader tips off at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. What a comeback for Nebraska in this game. Oklahoma led by as many as 16 in the first half. They led by 7 at the start of the second half, and now the Huskers lead 69-67. Bryce Sanford with a game-high 21 points to lead Nebraska. It is Oklahoma ball out of the timeout. Xavier Brown gets it in.
And you have to be cognizant of Brown being the trigger man, that he's going to get the ball back.
Brown's got 18. Forsythe guarded by Lawrence.
Good job by Lawrence. Really well done by Lawrence.
Pass at the feet of Davis, but he saves it and finds a talk off the top of the backboard. And it is a shot clock violation.
Take a look at this. Yeah, that's not going to take long. Because the only thing that matters, Chris, if you take a look at the top of your screen, once that red light goes off, that signals it's dead. The ball is still in his hand. I don't think this review is going to take very long.
Called a shot clock violation. Kelly Pfeiffer, Rob Rourke, Will Howard are our officials this evening.
And again, there are a lot, and you can see not just on the stanchion up top and on the side, but it's the one up top, Chris. That's the only thing that really matters from an official standpoint. Once that red light goes off, it's dead. The ball is still clearly in his hand.
The basket is no good. Shot clock violation, ball in hand, Nebraska basketball.
Thank you, Kelly Pfeiffer. Rink Mast will get it in for Nebraska. These two teams first met in January of 1921. They were in the Missouri Valley Conference. Became charter members of the Big Six, which eventually became the Big 12. Now non-conference foes, Big Ten and SEC represented. And the foul there on Mo McGee.
And I like what Nebraska did there, Chris, because you have, some guys that can knock down threes out there with them. You spread the floor, you don't bring the defenders down there, and you let the experienced Mast kind of go to work down there on the block.
Sanford has been the man for Nebraska in this game. Throws it into the corner for Forsythe. Davis. Foul called. Count the bucket.
Hey, how about the rebound by Tay Davis? I mean, he goes up in traffic. Watch, two hands. Boom, he does it. He gets, that's the second time we've seen an Oklahoma player not die on the blockout. He creates some space. And speaking of creating space, when you can knock down threes, as Bryce Sanford has done, it's going to create opportunities going to the rim. This has been a very entertaining and emotional game thus far. Nice answer by Oklahoma on the offensive window there by Tay Davis.
Fouls on Rink Mast, his first for Nebraska. Davis is an Indianapolis product. He's got a dozen. Jeff Wonkwo back into the game for Oklahoma. Sanford kick out. Mast. Rainbow three.
That was pretty basketball. Because Sanford could have tried to take it all the way. They don't close out in control. He turns the corner, and that allows Rink Mast to fill in behind.
Reed underneath, double teamed. Open man, Wonkwo for three. Tingel the rebound.
Now they've got a mismatch down there. Brown is on Mast. They're going to have to run the double. He's going to score.
You called it, Sean. Mast has got 17. We're just barely halfway through the second half, and both teams in the 70s. Big night for the offense, and Cale Jacobson with the steal. Wow, what a play by Xavier Brown.
How about Brown not hanging his head, okay? If he hangs his head, that's a basket. But Mast able to just take Brown, and if they don't run the double, I thought Pack might come down there and try to double, getting it out of his hands. Mast playing with some really good offensive patience, and it's lighted out for Xavier Brown in that situation if the double team's not going to come.
Sanford throws it to Lawrence, and he draws the foul on Wonkwo. Number 2 on Wonkwo. How about Nebraska, Sean? They've made 10 of their last 11 shots, 4 of their last 5 three-point shots. I mean, not like they were stone cold in the first half. We were really talking about how well Oklahoma's defense played, but the Huskers have caught fire in the second half.
And they've done a much better job, I would say, after the first 6 or 7 minutes of this ball game, because the closeouts by Oklahoma have been phenomenal. But you have to respond by attacking those closeouts. I think Nebraska was kind of on their heels, at least initially offensively, with those aggressive closeouts and the communication. They've done a much better job over the last 13 to 14 minutes of clock time of attacking those closeouts and making Oklahoma scramble.
One more free throw for Jamarcus Lawrence, who was just 2 for 4 on the season at the free throw line coming in. Mast nearly put that one in. Nebraska very good at offensive rebounds on missed free throws specifically, and Oklahoma caught a break.
started the drive, he saw Mast show. So rather than challenge, he used that little fan dribble to get back and create just enough space. Brown and Pack are going to be a handful in the SEC.
Pack's got 18. Nebraska has slowed him down a little bit in the second half. Lawrence, that was a tough shot. Jacobson, the offensive rebound. Hoiberg, an air ball. And it's Oklahoma ball.
Nigel Pack, now watch. Looks like he may be able to go all the way, but he sees Mast showing. Then he does a really subtle thing. He gets his hip into Jacobson, which doesn't allow him to utilize his superior side to block it. Just a really smart play by Nigel Pack.
Efficient night for Nigel Pack, 7-12 shooting. Back from Atak, around to Brown, 10 to shoot. Brown into the corner, Atak, got the three.
And that was a tough shot because Jacobson was flying out at him.
Atak shooting 36% from three coming in. He's got a couple of those tonight. Mast, guarded by Wonkwo. Mast!
Ooh. I mean, people could say basketball is not a contact sport all they want. They're dreaming because Mast put his shoulder right in the chest of Wonkwo.
6'10", 2.5, as you would say, Sean. Pack for three. Oh, here comes Nigel Pack, 21. Another Indianapolis product on the roster for Oklahoma, along with Tay Davis. Jacobson for three.
Now, people at home may say that is a behind-the-back pass with a purpose. He's not going to be able to make a conventional pass, and not only did he make the proper pass behind the back, how about the backspin, which led Jacobson right into a shot?
These teams are trading bangers right now. Nigel Pack off the heel. Rebound pulled in by Hoiberg.
And a good block out by Lawrence made that possible for Hoiberg to get the rebound ultimately.
Lawrence. Bottoms. Timeout. Oklahoma. Rink Mast, the trigger man for so much of what Nebraska wants to do offensively.
Well, what he has shown tonight is what Nebraska was missing a season ago. His versatility put the shoulder right into the chest of Wonkwo and is able to score. But how about this pretty play? Jacobson says, I'll take all three of those here in Sioux Falls.
Remember, Nebraska has won 7 games in a row because they ended last season with 4 straight wins at the College Basketball Crown. They've got the longest active win streak in non-conference games among Division I teams as well.
Well, they have done a nice job of answering the initial thrust of Oklahoma to start this ball game. None better than Jamarcus Lawrence. Chris, he was scoreless in the first half. You wouldn't know it by his performance here so far in the second 20 minutes. 14 points on 3 of 5 from behind the arc. Also to go 4 assists, 1 turnover, and that has been the story, or one of many stories for Nebraska so far. A 9-to-1 assist turnover ratio, that's pretty good. That's going to give you a chance anytime, especially against a team in Oklahoma to start this ball game, which we're really trying to set the tone on that end of the floor.
2 turnovers for Fred Hoiberg and the Huskers. That is remarkable. 6:31 to play. Nebraska with its largest lead of the night, 86-78, over the Sooners. Brown fadeaway.
Hey, man, that guy just gets hoops. And he scored that, and someone from Nebraska, I couldn't see, we were kind of straight line there, had a handful of his jersey.
Yeah.
Didn't stop him.
20 ball for Brown. His career high is 29, which he hit last season against Loyola Chicago.
Oh, man.
Rink Mast is the latest player in this game over 20 points. He's got 22. Make that 23. Pack, catch and shoot. And a foul on Nebraska.
And this is deep. And that was no doubt. Look at the backspin, the ability to elevate, and what that will free up, because you know that the defender is going to be talked to about, hey, you got to close out under control. A shot fake, then he can become a playmaker for others once he gets in the lane off a shot fake and drive.
Forsythe hooks it outside to Pack. Still shooting.
Man, I tell you what, that wasn't easy because it was a good pass by Forsythe, but it wasn't in the proper place. Pack had to go off to his side to get it, but he got into the shooting pocket so quickly.
Jacobson draws the foul on Pack. That's Pack's third. Let's go back to that last bucket by Oklahoma.
Get in the lane. See, that's not easy because he had to go and then get that up into his shooting pocket very, very quickly, but a good look, weak side by Forsythe, who has given some quality minutes to Oklahoma so far this evening on both ends of the floor. And that's the second time in this half that I just think Oklahoma forgot Jacobson's a left-handed player. They kind of gave him that wide berth to that strong hand.
That's a great point. Jacobson just 0 for 2 now at the free throw line on the season. But that's a Cale Jacobson stat line, 8 points, 4 rebounds. Still looking for his first made free throw of the season. He got his own miss, but couldn't put it in.
Mass kept it alive. Oklahoma very fortunate there.
The lead is 6 for Nebraska. Brown, kick out. Forsythe, Pack.
Oh, man. Mass came out not just one hand high, but 2.
Pack is just packing away the buckets in this game. He's got 27. There are 4 20-point scorers on the floor in this game. Foul on Oklahoma.
And Nigel Pack doesn't have the highest release point, okay?
No.
But watch this. I mean, that's a guy 6'10" coming at you. In many cases, the basket was a rumor to Pack.
He is 6 for 11 from three-point range. The Oklahoma foul was on Xavier Brown, his second. It puts Peyton Sanford at the free throw line. A career-high 24 points tonight for Price Sanford, beg your pardon, called him by his older brother's name by mistake. Price Sanford with 25 now. Iowa's Mr. Basketball in 2023.
How about the 6 assists as well?
He's had a hand in a lot of points for Nebraska. Both teams have shot the lights out in this game, especially in the second half. Huskers 8 of 12 from deep in the second half. Oklahoma 7 of 15. Forsythe. Turnover. Nebraska ball. Sanford for Mast. Loose ball. Sanford jumps on it. Mast on the way. Good! Brown, the step back 3. In and out. Mast the rebound. for it, accelerates. He's got 28.
And an excellent job of spacing the floor. And again, because Sanford has knocked down threes, that makes his ability, you have to contest the three. If you don't do it under control, he can take it all the way.
Long rebound, Brown's got it. It's still in play, Nebraska ball. Nebraska closing in on the century mark. Tingel. And a foul on Wagee. His fourth.
Well, the three-point shooting was an area of concern for Oklahoma coming in, especially in transition. Held in check, but is picked up here in the second half off the scramble situation. And Chris, when you've got a mass like that, it's going to be smooth sailing.
Oklahoma, Nebraska has been a barn burner, and coming up next, we've got more hoops. Minnesota hosts Green Bay. That's next on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Mike Hall and former Minnesota Gopher Parker Fox on the call. Parker's Big Ten debut, and remember his Big Ten Network debut. Remember, Parker started his college career at Northern State in Aberdeen, South Dakota. We are in Sioux Falls, South Dakota for a throwback showdown between Nebraska and Oklahoma that has lived up to the billing. And when you make shots like that, I mean, coaches will pull their hair out defensively, but it sure is fun to watch.
And a lot of those have become possible because of the willingness and ability of Nebraska to share the basketball. I mean, you've got 34 made field goals for the Cornhuskers, 20 coming via the assist, only 3 turnovers thus far against the team in Oklahoma that came out and really tried to set the tone defensively, and for long periods of time was able to do just that. But even when Nebraska was struggling offensively, they weren't hurting their cause by creating turnovers, especially of the live ball variety.
They're commemorating the 100th game of Division I basketball inside the Sanford Pentagon. First game was back in 2013. The most points that have been scored in a D1 men's game here in this venue, South Dakota State put up 102. And Nebraska's knocking on the door of the arena record with 96, going for more with Berke Bayuktingel at the free throw line. They'll stay at 96.
And teams that choose to come here to play in the Pentagon here in Sioux Falls, they will come back.
Yes.
Because of atmospheres like this, the hospitality, the arena, this is big time.
14 for Bayuktingel, who's healthy this season after an ankle injury really dogged him for the final month of last campaign. Brown, Forsythe.
Good closeout.
A talk for 3. In and out. Sanford, another rebound.
Boy, really good job of recovering, because that was a pretty good offensive set by Oklahoma. They flipped the floor and forced Oklahoma, or Nebraska rather, to scramble defensively, but they're able to recover. Good curl cut by Lawrence.
Lawrence coughs it up. Atak jumps on it. Forsythe drives, blocked by Bayuktingel, but that's a foul. Number 3 on Bayuktingel.
And the block was clean, but the contact is lower. Not necessarily the best angle there, but even Bayuktingel didn't really protest all that much.
He did not. So getting daps and kudos from his teammates. 14 points for the junior. Started his college career at UCLA. Forsythe now trying to snap an 8-0 run for Nebraska at the free throw line. He is 8 for 10 on the season. Walkwo checks back into the game. Nebraska had what was it, 44 points in the first half. 51-44 was the first half score, and they have erupted here in the second half. 44 is a pretty decent first half total. Crowd growing impatient as Porter Moser politics with the officials, and Price Sanford calls a timeout.
Well, the fans were upset because there were 6 Sooners out there until Forsythe made his way off the floor.
They sorted out in the Oklahoma huddle. Here's what's coming up on the Big Ten Network and Fox families of networks involving Big Ten teams. Notre Dame, Ohio State tomorrow on FS1. We've got a doubleheader for you on Big Ten Network with Incarnate Word, Indiana, and then Akron, Purdue. Of course, Green Bay, Minnesota comes your way next. And Oregon State, Oregon on FS1 late night on Monday.
Not sure if I'd want to play someone named Incarnate Word on a Sunday. I don't know if that bodes well for you or not.
Yeah, it seems like, you know, fate is stacked against you.
I might want to avoid that one. But Indiana, no need to avoid anything with the way they have shot the 3-ball. I mean, they've already surpassed the century mark a couple times here in the early part of the season.
Yeah, Tucker DeVries has got the most points of any active player in Division I basketball, so leading the new look Hoosiers into this 25-26 campaign.
I'd foul him. They tried to. Good job by Buchengel getting it out of his hands.
Ten to shoot, 90 seconds to play. Sam Hoiberg. Sanford. Rebound down to Brown, and a tie-up underneath Buchengel and Blanco, and the foul called on Nebraska's Buchengel. That's his fourth.
Yeah, and I was going to be very surprised if something wasn't called there when 2 guys. Now they may go and look at a hook and hold here too. It's very possible they may go and look at a hook and hold, and I think that's exactly what we're going to see. Yeah, they're going to take a look for a hook and hold.
Here's Kelly Pfeiffer.
The last play is under review for a potential hook and hold foul.
And you can see they are up top. A lot of contact up there. Now, the other thing they'll look at is, did the player from Oklahoma, you know, kind of get his arm underneath there as well, or was it initiated by Buchengel? And the way that he pulled him down, Oklahoma has a case here.
Yes.
Nothing malicious.
Of course.
I mean, these guys are they're just trying to, you know, battle for the ball, but there's no question that they got tangled up, and then when one gets pulled to the floor, you may just decide that may be where the benefit of the doubt goes in terms of the call.
Buchengel and Nwankwo tied up. The officials have stepped away from the monitor. But continue to conference just off the scorer's table.
Well, they're going to want to make sure that they get any potential clock situations resolved, as well as the call itself.
After review, we have a hook and hold foul on Nebraska, number 9. Number 3 for Oklahoma will shoot 2 free throws, and then they get the ball on the end line.
That's a huge call.
That's big. Potentially a 5-point sequence here if you are the Sooners, with the potential for 2 made free throws, and then you get possession down where play ceased.
It amounts to a flagrant 1 foul, 2 free throws plus the ball. That's Nwankwo's first point of the game. He was just 2 for 5 at the free throw line coming in. And buries 2 big ones to give Oklahoma life here.
Now, it's really important for Nebraska that Gel doesn't let that play linger on this end of the floor. You know, if I'm Oklahoma, do you try to attack him right now and kind of see where he is mentally after that sequence?
Gel has 4 fouls. 1 more and he's gone. Mo Wagee playing with 4 fouls as well for Oklahoma. Brown tipped. Wagee saves it. A tuck. Gets the 3 off. Mask the rebound. Gel, he is fouled by a tuck. Couldn't quite get rid of it in time.
And kind of to pay off the earlier point on the defensive end, this is where Gel needs to calm down, take a breath, and focus on the task at hand. That call, history. It's done. You can't let that carry over here, especially when you have a chance to extend the lead here. Get your emotions under control, step up there, go through your routine. Well done.
Fred Hoiberg said just how much they were hurt by Gel's injury in the final month of last season. And getting him back, plus Rink Mass back, you've got 2 bigs that you can run a lot of stuff through.
Yeah, he was playing really well, and he turned his ankle against Ohio State and was never quite the same after that.
Tay Davis, 2-pointer drops. We're inside of a minute to play. And it's a 7-point ball game. They're going to put a little bit more time back on the clock.
Yeah, because once the ball clears the net, that's when it's supposed to stop. So I'm going to guess it'll be maybe 42, then maybe round this up to 42 seconds. .42-3, yep.
Hoiberg finds Lawrence.
Ooh, boy.
A turnover. Brown's got it for Oklahoma. 35 seconds to go. Xavier Brown for 3. Shot altered by Gel, but Davis has it, puts it up, and is going to the free throw line. And 1 chance for Tay Davis.
Yeah, this comes off the turnover. Just keep moving. It was missed so poorly that I don't think Mass had the opportunity to try to turn and locate. His shoulder and his back was kind of to the play, and since it didn't even really hit the rim, Davis in that situation had the advantage because he had sight of the ball in flight, whereas Mass did not.
It is 99-95. Davis had just 4 points in the first half. He's got 13 in the second half.
He's been kind of Oklahoma's version of Jamarcus Lawrence, doing all his damage here in the second quarter.
28.5 seconds left, and now Cale Jacobson is the inbounder for Nebraska. Huskers could not get it over half court. Hoiberg with room to run, and he is fouled. Foul is on Davis, his second.
Hoiberg perfect tonight. Came in perfect.
26 seconds to go. Over a minute 26 into the first half between Minnesota and Green Bay. Get you there as soon as we wrap up. Hoiberg 5 points today, 3 at the free throw line. Marcus Lawrence back into the game. Hoiberg playing in his 94th career game. Hoiberg's played 27 minutes tonight. The Huskers were 16-7 last season when he played 20 minutes or more. Plays winning basketball. Nebraska hits a hundo. Seconds to play. And a Nebraska foul is called. It's on Hoiberg.
And, Sam Hoiberg would like to have this back. You want to contest. It didn't help his cause that Doc was kind of off balance anyway, and that contact was kind of exaggerated by the fact that Doc was off balance in his own right.
Oklahoma in the bonus. This is a 1-and-1 for Koala Tom. Nine points for a Tom. Atak was a red shirt last season. Did not play, and in a big moment here, hits 2 free throws. He sits for Mo Wagi. That is defense in for offense. 4-point lead for Nebraska, just under 18 seconds to play. Hoiberg is fouled by Nigel Pack.
Nice little two-man game to free up Hoiberg. And then Hoiberg did the right thing. He didn't become a spectator. He ran toward the trigger man to make sure he saw him, and then was able to turn and go up that far sideline.
Green Bay, Minnesota underway from the barn on the Fox Sports app. It's been a barn burner here inside the Sanford Pentagon between Nebraska and Oklahoma. Hoiberg stays perfect at the strike.
Sometimes it gets overlooked, Chris. Right, you're talking about two teams that have legitimate hopes and aspirations for the NCAA tournament. A win like this, it doesn't matter whether it's in November or March. They all count the same. Now, sometimes the casual fan may not start paying attention until toward the end of the season, but this is an impactful win for either one of these teams because it's in a neutral site and it's going to do nothing but help your metrics.
Breathing room for Nebraska after the 2 made free throws by Hoiberg. Brown too strong. Jacobson the rebound. 8.6 seconds to play, and the Huskers can sense it.
Tell you what, this has been a really entertaining ball game, and if you're Nebraska, you should be very proud. Let's not forget it. They were down 16 at one point.
Yeah.
And all the momentum seemed to be with the team from Norman. But this is a team, obviously, in the Sooners, well coached. And that backcourt of Brown and Pack is going to be a handful for SEC competition.
Oklahoma's second season in the SEC. Well, we talked about the rebounding margin for Oklahoma. It was +8 at the break. It is now even for the game. So Nebraska has crashed the glass, taken care of the basketball, and hit a ton of threes, especially in the second half.
And this was a team we talked about it at the top of the telecast. The three-point line was going to be really important for Oklahoma to defend and negate. They were able to do that for long periods of time because Nebraska came in averaging 11 main threes per ball game. They picked it up here in the second half. They're going to finish with 15 triples on only 27 opportunities.
Reed lays it in. Inbound to Jacobson. What do you think Fred Hoiberg learned about his team tonight?
They have some resilience, and it's really good if you're Fred Hoiberg to have Rink Mass back, because he was a difference maker on both ends.
Arena record 105 points for Nebraska tonight in a 6-point win over Oklahoma. What a fun game.